Can anyone admit that that opening song is pretty damn catchy? Like, I did not really realize how catchy that opening song was until I've listened to it quite a few times, and that opening song is quite addicting if you listen to it enough. I mean, it's not as addicting as Overlord, but it is a pretty damn addicting opening song. So, plus a couple points to Monster Girl for actually having an addicting opening song. One of the better opening songs of this anime season. But anyways, regardless of the opening, let's actually talk about this episode of Monster Girl. So, we have a new girl introduced in this episode, which we should have already have expected, because, I mean, this is a harem series, and of course, it's going to introduce a lot of female characters for everybody can have their own pick of what they think is the best girl. And also, we get a little bit of, I guess, comedy that you would expect from a harem. So, before I even get into talking about the episode, okay, I'm just going to say right now, I want to clearly state this right now, because I know some have asked me. Actually, I've been PM'd about this, and so I want to answer this question. Some have asked me, is this series going to do anything so-called different from the normal harem? Like, is it going to be revolutionary, so to say? Like, break the mold that we expect from a harem series? Personally, from what I have read up to, I've only read up to a certain threshold. I'm not actually completely caught up with the manga, but from what I have read up to, no, it doesn't. So, if you're really not, I say, enjoying this series or liking the premise of it with the monster girls and stuff, I don't think this series might be for you, personally. I'm just saying that right now. I'm just answering the questions that some of you Chibits have asked me in these past couple weeks. So, there you go. Now that I've said that, let's talk about this episode. So, Monster Girl this week takes upon a comedy route, but showcasing how this new girl, Meryl, I think that's her name, yeah, Meryl, she gets introduced. It's a mermaid girl, and she has this, like, some form of romance building up through this entire episode, and the comedy focuses around that. For instance, you have it to where Mia, she gets very jealous and very upset throughout this entire episode, trying to figure out the motive of this mermaid girl that was, you know, brought into their house out of nowhere. She's trying to figure out, okay, so what is her motive? What's she trying to do? Is she really trying to get with my darling? I mean, there's so many different things that she was thinking throughout this entire episode, and that's kind of where the comedy was actually trying to go in this episode. Now, besides that type of obvious comedy, which revealed itself at the end of finding out that this mermaid girl is in fact a very twisted type of girl that loves twisted romance. For instance, she wants a tragic love story, so you should go read some dark things. Maybe you might like Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, hey, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, if you like tragic shit, you might like that, but back on topic. So, the majority of the episode, about probably 50% or 60% of this episode, was focusing on that comedy part of this episode, and so there's nothing really there to say, like, oh my god, fucking amazing, because I actually have seen that type of comedy before in other harems I have read and watched. So, let's move off of that. Now, the beginning of the episode, of course, we need the, you know, Yuri fan service, because we really haven't had much of that, and we got some Yuri fan service in this episode. I think my thumbnail's probably gonna have something to do with the Yuri scenes in this episode, but yeah, there was Yuri at the beginning of this episode. We get to see how Sue is gonna be used as a character for Yuri in the future, because you have to where Mia, Satoria, and then Poppy, they get water and sweat all over them, and then all of a sudden Sue comes over and starts getting the water off their bodies, which leads into, I guess, some form of tentacle Yuri scene. So, if you like tentacles, and you like Yuri, and if you like monster girls, you might say this episode was like, damn. I think that's what some of your thoughts would be about the first half of the episode, because the Yuri scenes, damn. And even after that, there was more Yuri scenes throughout the episode. I mean, some of the scenes were pretty damn funny. Like, you know, getting to see one of those scenes of Mia also with the AC unit, with how she got very cold and couldn't move and she was about to pass out. That was a pretty funny scene in this episode, because, as you know, she's a snake, and so that means that she can't stand cold temperatures that much, because it would kill her, and a mermaid, since they live in different types of water, for instance, cold water or hot water, of course, they could survive in cold temperatures, so it's actually just hurting Mia in the process when she was trying to get rid of the mermaid girl in this episode. So there was some comedy throughout this episode that was pretty damn funny, and I like how you know, Monster Girl uses these different quirks when it comes to different animals or creatures, like snakes, for instance, and you know, how they can't stand cold temperatures, how that was kind of used to bring in some comedy with this episode. So Monster Girl, couple points for that, using the different characteristics with its design of its characters for some comedy reasons. And that's about it. I mean, Monster Girl, very simple in nature. It's nothing really to break it down for a 10-minute review, because the series is not like that. It's a series you should just sit back and enjoy, relax to, and have fun. It's a fun series. It's a fun series to sit back every Tuesday and watch after Overlord, or if you want to watch this before Overlord, it just depends. But I usually save this until after Overlord when I watch it on Tuesday, because, I mean, I just need my mindless fun to finish off the day. So tell me your thoughts and comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.